Hey everyone, how's it going? Today, whatever day that may be for you, I'm here to review The Last of Us Part 2. Driven more from morbid curiosity than anything else, I recently played through, live streamed from Twitch and backlogged it here on YouTube. Anyway, it was a curiosity derived from the ending of The Last of Us 1, or rather the feeling that it didn't end. So I wanted to see where they took this tale, and I have to say, it was a pretty good game, intensely brutal, and harrowingly depressing at parts. It's a game worth playing, if you can look past any controversy you may or may not hold for it. A true game for adults is one way I would put it. With that said, let's break down some of the simpler aspects of the game before we move on to my spoiler-free review. Once again, like the first one, The Last of Us Part 2 is incredibly well voice acted, and the musical score is great too, as well as atmospheric sounds, all combining to create an incredible experience. I can't say as much about 3D soundstage, but even with my 2-channel headset, I could get a pretty good idea where enemies were and what was going on, much better than through TV speakers anyway. I also did decide to test using the Elite 800X headset to get more reference for that 3D soundstage, and my opinion is that with the 5.1 channel surround sound opened up, the game's audio also opens up a little bit. I felt like with the Elite 800X I got a bit more depth to the soundstage versus the headset that only has 2-channel stereo. That said, 2-channel stereo is how I played the game, and I think it sounded great. It allows for decent enough sound that it's not hard to pinpoint where enemies and things are around you, though I would say that if you want the best experience, go with a headset that offers surround sound. Overall though, as far as the audio goes, again, incredible voice acting and atmospheric effects, along with the original score and soundtrack, just all combined into a wonderful audio experience. In all sincerity, this game is gorgeous, and I can only imagine what it would look like on a PS5 with HDR and whatever other features they add there. A truly gorgeous game with some of the best facial capture I've ever seen, even beating out LA Noire in this regard, though that's a pretty big jump in the years and I would wager technology. Still, have to say again, absolutely gorgeous game. I really love Naughty Dog's emphasis on the visuals in their games. I feel like they do mocap and facial details better than any studio that I'm aware of. And these features lend themselves to bringing the tale to life, making every encounter seem that much more brutal and harrowing. And please remember, the footage you're seeing here is from my 720p stream that was downloaded to my tablet, edited, and then re-uploaded to YouTube in 1080p. So it is no means a direct visual representation of what the game actually looks like, even coming out of a base model PS4 in my case, to a standard non-HDR 1080p TV. I can't say I've ever played a game where the melee combat had nearly as much impact and brutality to it. Even games with more gore, usually to a cartoonish extent, don't ring through to seem as actually brutal as The Last of Us Part 2. I like that they've added new elements for traversal around the maps as well as new options for stealth. It leads to some very interesting encounters and opens your playstyle to new approaches in a pseudo-survival horror game, without making you feel like you can't just fight your way through the hordes of enemies, whether human or infected, unless the best option is to run. You'll know when you need to do that. To generalize my opinion here, they managed to take the chunky and brutal combat from The Last of Us 1 and ramp it up to 11, along with some really intense moments that actually made me jump or cringe from how shocking or unexpected they were, this, gameplay-wise, was a truly amazing experience. Spoiler-free spoiler warning. I won't tell you what happens in the game, but I do talk about my opinion on the game's ending. If this is going to bother you, skip to the timestamp I have listed here. So yeah, I never kept up with or fell into any of the drama that came surrounding this game during its launch. With that said, this is my review, and my overall opinion was I kind of disliked the ending. Not enough to take up arms about it. This was a tale for me to experience, and I experienced it the way the writers wanted it to be told. I disliked that it left so many questions up in the air, and that would be my largest complaint. I also dislike that around the halfway point it started to feel like it was being padded out just for the sake of making the game longer. Not that they didn't tell an interesting story here, with some twists and turns I certainly didn't expect. I just got to where I wanted to see the ending, and it felt like it took a little too long to get there. Someone, sorry, I can't remember your username or which stream it was from, asked me who my favorite character was, and I obviously couldn't answer at the time considering it was my first playthrough, but I felt it was an interesting enough question to ponder. All characters in The Last of Us, both games, have flaws. No one is a hero, most are villains, but only certain people seem outright evil. The entire game is morally gray, everyone does bad things, it's just a matter of seeing why they do these things. Shedding light into that darkness that distinguishes and perhaps even warrants their actions. If I had to pick a character, I would probably pick Tommy. I like Tommy's character, but again, they're all bad people in their own bad ways. With that said, this game was an emotional whirlwind, and as I stated earlier, it's a very adult-minded game. Certainly not a game I would allow my children to play. You're entitled to your own opinion there. Anyway, it's a fantastically brutal, emotional roller coaster of an experience, and if you like for your games and their stories to hit you in the feels, this one sure did it for me. I can't tell you whether I love this game or despise it, which makes me want to tell you to play it that much more, or just give me your spoiler-free opinions if you've played it, preferably, reasonable, appropriate, spoiler-free opinions in the comments below, because everyone deserves to have their own opinion on a game, and that's what makes this fun. So once again, in case somehow you've missed it or skipped through the video, my general opinion, stated as simply as possible, is it's a very adult-minded, brutal, emotional roller coaster of a game. I literally can't think of another or better way to put it. So I guess from here, well, I'll be working on streaming another game and doing a review. Maybe something a bit more lighthearted, but who knows. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks to my patron, Swift Logic, and those that support my channel. Don't forget, there's a description box below with all kinds of cool stuff in it. I hope to catch you in the comments or in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, be safe, be good.